if you'd like to, if you have questions. But before we do, I have something very special that I offer during the Full Body Fix and only during the Full Body Fix, and that is an opportunity to connect with me personally. We talk about your hurdles, anything you're up against. We talk about your goals, what you want to achieve in fitness, health. So basically, we have a personal consult. It is in a semi-private structure. And so you get to actually meet with me and connect with me personally. Right now we had, in this session, we had about 160 participants. In these sessions, it's like 5 participants, 3 participants. It's a very intimate type of setting. It's an amazing consultation. And also individuals come to these meetings with me to figure out, how can I get personal help from you and your fitness doctor team beyond the Full Body Fix? So if you're interested in that type of thing and you're loving already what you're doing here in the Full Body Fix, we've only gone through feet and ankles. We got so much more value coming in session 2, 3, 4, and 5. But if you'd like to connect with me personally, you can do that. And these fill up really fast. So usually by like the 3rd, 4th session, we don't have these semi-private consultations available anymore. So those who kind of take advantage of it early, you actually get a spot. So Patricia will drop the link in the chat right now for you to be able to take advantage of that. And then we'll get into Q&A here. And how do you participate in Q&A? So the way that you participate in Q&A is you go to questions and answers, Q&A. So you go to reactions, bottom of your Zoom toolbar, and you click on the reactions, which is like a smiley face with a plus sign. You click reactions, and then you click raise hand. And what you'll see, just like in my screen here, you see the digital hand. So that's the way I know that you have a question. That's the way I know you have a question. And that's what we call when you raise your hand. And those who raise their hand, I'll call on you in the order of which you raise your hand. And without further ado, let's get started with Q&A. And first up, we have Teresa. Hello, Teresa. Welcome.
Hi. I really enjoyed this. I think it's fantastic. There's a few things I couldn't do because I'm large and I can't reach my feet sometimes. Any suggestions on how to try to do it without delaying the whole class? I don't want to take up a lot of your time.
Sure, I can help you. Is it okay? Can you turn your camera on? That's one of the Zoom won't let us share screens. Like usually I bring participants up with us, so I can't share screen unless you have your camera on.
Unable to access camera.
Oh, that's okay. If you can't,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
No
sorry.
problem. So sometimes, yeah. So based on what you said, just, larger body, one of the things you can do is open your legs wider. So one of the big things to do is open your legs wider, or you can use a stool to bring your foot up. So by bringing your foot up instead of trying to go all the way to the ground, which requires a lot more hamstring mobility. And if your legs are closer together, of course, your abdomen is going to start touching your legs. So what I recommend is go wide legs and then take a inside to outside approach. You're going to be able to get to your foot a lot easier. And then elevating that foot also will help you significantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Full Body Fixers, this is your opportunity to connect with me with any questions that you have. So again, how do you participate? You go to reactions, click on reactions, and then when you open that, you'll see an option that you can click raise hand, and you click raise hand to ask questions with me here. And Carrie, hello, welcome. 1 second, let's get you up on the screen and we'll get you unmuted.
There we go. Okay, so when we get through the 5 sessions, these exercises that we'll be getting the checklist, this will be something we do before we do our major workout. Is this something we do then? This becomes part of our process, I would assume.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So really good question, actually. So the Full Body Fix is going to give you a variety of, it's really giving you an evaluation and a prescription. It's like teaching you how to evaluate your body and giving you a prescription while teaching you all kinds of the most important related fitness factors that everybody seems to miss in the fitness industry. So that's what the full body fix is. And so, yes, you can take these exercises, and it's best to do before your training if you have limitations or difficulties in certain areas, such as like today was feet and ankles. So if you have like arch issues or flat foot issues, great idea to do that before you do regular exercise like squats or lunges or even walking, whether outside or on a treadmill. Why? Because it's going to start to create that neurological pathway so that when you do that other more complex movement, where you have more body parts moving at the same time, it's more likely for you to have that function of that part of your body working better. But the full body fix includes a lot of different things. It includes stuff that's going to teach you how to realign and improve your body throughout the day. In exercise, there's actual exercises themselves that could be part of a major routine. There's a lot of foundational biomechanical body mechanics factors in the full body fix. So so it just really depends on which exercise we're talking about. And since we're on the question, one thing that a significant portion of full body fix attendees do is they learn about becoming what we call a VIP. So a VIP is what we call our clients. And they come into we call our mastermind, or what once you become a VIP, we call our VIP family. And so the VIP family member is supported by like our orthopedic physician, our physiologist, our team of physical therapists, our trainers, and we train online live. And you have like some of the most elite fitness experts in the world actually watching, analyzing, and coaching you through every step of the way. That happens after the full body fix, but so that kind of gives you a broad view of answering kind of everything of view from starting.
Okay,
from
so once we get through the 5 sessions, we have an evaluation of our body, where we have the weaknesses. So we could just start on trying to fix those weaknesses, not as much, or do we do balance on both if we don't need on one side? Like I identified on the right side, which I've been having knee issues, and I can see certain things that when I work on it, the knee is alleviated from the pressure. So would I be more apt to focus on that until, and then sort of once in a while do both together to see where I'm at, or?
both what together? I understood everything.
Both exercise. In other words, let's say I have a right side with the ankle and I'm working on that, the ankle and the foot, and that makes the pressure go away on my knee, which is my issue on the right side. And then I would do that more often than maybe once a week. I would do both knees together, both sides together, and see if I'm balanced yet, I would assume.
Yeah, so when you have one side that's worse than the other, or one side that's problematic and one side that's not, it is a good idea to do more volume, more sets, more reps, more intensity on the side that's problematic, so you can get them more balanced, because symmetry is like, that is the number one thing, or in other words, balance between one side of the body and the other. So yes, I would encourage you to do that, but don't necessarily leave out the other side, because the other side can actually be an educator. So you can use the other side to, like, if you're having trouble finding position, or like doing toe or foot movement, or even strength-based stuff, you can connect with the feeling of one side, do a couple reps, and then do the other side that's more problematic, and actually use your own body to recondition that feel and function into the other side. So that's really helpful also.
Okay, that's great. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Allison, you're up next with me here. We'll bring you up on the screen, and we will. I don't think you even have an up. I guess.
Yeah, I don't have a camera on my computer.
Okay.
So I just have a really specific question about the foot strengthening. So I genetically have a really low arch, and actually about 3 years ago, I decided to go barefoot, and I've been doing that, and that's actually strengthened my arch a lot and alleviated a lot of foot and knee pain I had. But I'm still having my ankles still roll in, not as much as they did, but they still roll in. So is that still really related to my arch, and I just need to strengthen it more? I couldn't get my fingers fully halfway under. So I guess that was my question. Is that really still just related to that arch not being as strong and as high yet as it should be, having the ankles roll in?
Yeah, if your ankle's rolling to the inside, definitely have to do with your arch and your foot intrinsics, but also tissues like your tibialis anterior, which is like the tissue that pulls the toes up, like the exercise we did today. So they're both really related. You'd want to work on like toe raising or dorsiflexion, and you'd also want to work on that arch strengthening as well. Both,
Okay. All right.
both, yeah.
Yeah, the toe raise was hard for me to do. So, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, and then remember that don't just isolate the motion, like that's where you want to start. So what you learned today, that's really where you want to start. But then you want to take what you're learning and isolate it. In other words, like if you're just working your foot, that's isolated. But then if you go and do something like walking or squatting or lunging or any other type of exercise that uses your foot also, you want to try to continue to try to use that proper arch, right? So, and then one more thing is you want to try to be careful not to, like if it's walking and you're going to do 10,000 steps in a day and you're not used to really trying to do an arch, you wouldn't want to try to go extreme and get like that arch in there for 10,000 steps because you're going to totally overstress the tissues, right? So a little bit goes a long way.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Shirley, you're up with us next here. Hello and welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
I can't seem to get my video to work.
That's okay. If not, that's okay.
Okay.
I can hear you well though, so that works.
I do have bunions and I am flat-footed. This is very difficult to do these toe exercises. Do I just keep repeating them?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And with use your hands to start with. It's
Yeah, I have to. I can't do it the other way.
you know right. Yeah. So the baseline, the baseline for body functionality is really having enough tissue mobility that you can actually, go into the range of motion. And in this case, motor control. Those are the foundational elements. So, where you really struggle with any body area, in this case, your foot, you really need to focus on getting the motor control and the connection and feeling and sensing. And then once you start to do that, it's like getting good body function is not, think about it like cars going down a highway. Like we just went on a trip to Europe, right? And in Europe, you have these small little roads. It's amazing that you have to actually have one car going both directions, right? One car, you actually can go both ways. What it looks like in the US, it'd be like a single lane road. So, you're not going to get a lot of cars down that versus like, think about like an 8-lane highway, right? In the US, like a big road, you're going to get a lot of traffic. Well, so think about like your neurological signaling, like the cars. So if you have a little road and it's hard to get through and there's windy streets, like that's kind of how the neurological message is when you don't really feel good connection. But if you keep driving those cars down the lane, then what happens is the road starts getting built. So the builders start coming and building larger roads. You actually develop greater, thicker neurological connections. You actually develop more myelin sheath. So around your nerve fibers, you actually develop a larger myelin sheath, which gives greater nerve conductivity. So all that actually changes just by stressing your body and working different areas. So yeah, it's amazing how far you can actually go by just working on that same thing every day, which is the same way, whether you're trying to get your foot to have an arch or you're having someone like in the Olympics try to develop a motor skill for high performance. It's the same type of thing. That practice will build those neurological pathways.
Okay. Because my toe goes the wrong way. It's real hard to pull it back to try to make an arch because it's angled off to the outside.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
it does kind of. I knew I'd need to see some specifics. If you have video, maybe you can join session with video in the next one and show me. But yeah, it does make sense. But still, working that area and getting those tissues to function and go in that motion will help you.
Okay, I'll keep trying.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Renee, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, so please correct me when we bring you on here, but is that correct, Renee? And we gotta get you unmuted here.
Okay.
There we go.
It's okay. So, well, my question is what to do when you have some pain, how to manage the pain when you have some doing whatever exercise. For example, my wife used to have fasciitis and she felt some kind of pain, and I felt some pain in my back side of the leg when you, I don't remember the name of the exercise, you put that exercise against the wall and putting the feet back. That way you stretch the backside of the leg. I don't know. We say gemelos. I don't know the name of those muscles in English. So that produced me pain, and I want to know how to manage that pain if I have to stretch more instead. Instead of losing it. Yeah.
So okay, so first of all, when you have pain, it really depends on, like, did you just have an injury? Is this something that's long term? And so the approach is different depending on those situations, because pain can be because of long-standing inflammation. It can be because the tissue is degenerating without inflammation. It can be because you recently had an injury. So it really depends on that, right? So when you have a lot of inflammation or you have swelling in the area, the best thing to do is to like ice and gentle massage, elevation, compression, to get the tissue to go back to a normal state so that you can start recovering it with stress. Because the goal of exercise is stress that creates a breakdown that makes the tissue stronger, that comes back to function better. And when tissues feel in their natural state and doing what they're supposed to do, you don't really have pain signals. So what you'd want to do is first address that. Do you have that? So once you're past that point, then what you want to do is work on the mobility. So the first factor is making sure you have enough mobility in the tissue. So that can be stretching gently, that can be massage, it can be even doing stretching with motions. And it really depends on the part of the body of like what the action is, right? But in simple terms, if we're talking about your foot, like the self-applied plantar fascia stretch, that's really good for the high majority of people, get a lot of stress in the bottom of the foot. So you'd stretch that area first, and then you would do your exercise, right? And that's going to help significantly reduce the pain. And so what you're talking about, I think, is based on what you described, is your hamstrings. So your hamstrings, so the back side of your upper leg, you're feeling when you do your toe raises or dorsiflexion exercise. Yeah. So with this, your hamstrings are probably like just crazy tight. Like it sounds like your hamstrings are super tight. And sometimes what happens is the pelvis, depending on the alignment of the pelvis, it can actually cause the hamstring to go tighter, because the pelvis, when it's leaning forward, or leaning backward, it'll pull on the hamstring differently, right? So that's going to be uncovered to you more as we get into the third session. So like the pelvis and the hip, and all second and third session, a lot of things will come up for you there. So we're going to get a lot deeper, traveling up into the leg, into the pelvis. That'll help you significantly. So I'd say stay tuned. Make sure you attend session 2 and 3. You're going to get a lot of specifics that I'll walk you through in that'll help you tremendously. And then for the foot, yeah, I would say stretch first. And also, you can use like a lacrosse ball to roll the foot. Like when you're seated, you can just roll the foot and the whole arch, or you can get, specialized balls that are made for like rolling the plantar fascia, like this one here that has like knobbies on it. So all those things are really good to help break up the tissue, get good mobility. Once you have good mobility, then you want to build the strength of the tissue. Yeah, because if you think about it, once you get to strength training kind of works all of those things. Because, for example, like, let me give you a really simple example. If you are to do a curl, right, like a bicep curl, It's actually a stretch, because when you bring the arm all the way down, the tissue is elongating. So when you strength train, you actually stretch and strength train also. But sometimes tissues aren't really ready to strength train because they have different dysfunctions. So we have to work on the mobility and get rid of the foundational issues before strength training can truly be effective. Which is the reason why people have so many issues. 87% of people who exercise get injured exercising, because they have no business doing the stuff that the fitness industry exposes them to, and then just go and put a bunch of stress on their body, and they're not, this doesn't make body mechanic or biomechanical sound sense, right? So mobility and motor control first, and then build up as you feel good into the strength training component.
Yes, thank you so much. Actually, there is no injury. The problem is that my stretching doesn't goes all the way like whatever other person. So I need to manage that. My question was, if I can force a little, even having the ache, in order to gain in stretching.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's definitely a level of discomfort in exercise that's okay, and pain that's okay. But so you never want it to be outside of your personal comfort zone. Your body has a really good mechanism. If you listen to your body, like if it doesn't really feel right, I would back off, do it lighter, change the way you're doing the exercise to not have as much load or stress while doing the exercise. But like, you know, pain of up on a 1 to 10 scale of up to like a 3, you know, that's okay. But pain of like 6, 7, you're playing with a danger. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Norman, hello, sir. Welcome. And one thing I like to do here in the Full Body Fix that's fun is, since we're all online and we get to benefit from our digital age here.
I've unmuted. It's okay.
Yes. So tell me, Norman, where are you logging in with us from?
London, the UK, the Midlands of the UK.
Awesome. We were just there last week.
A place called Birmingham, near Birmingham.
Awesome.
Well, oh, interesting. Okay, I've got a problem with my feet. They're totally numb. And this is a question of neuropathy, I think. How do you deal with that? Or can you?
Yeah, you can. We actually have, if you don't mind me asking, what is your age, Norman?
I'm 87.
Okay.
I don't know.
We have a 84. I think he's 84. We have a VIP who's 84, and he has neuropathy. He has feet issues, and other neuropathies, and he's made drastic improvements in our training system. Drastic. And it's really goes back to the same thing I was just talking about, is improving the sensory function of the neurological system, and then improving the motor action that comes back. So, you know, whenever you do body movements and to have health and function and quality of life, you know, what happens is you have to first sense the position and sense what's going on. And like you said, when you have numbness, when you lose the sense, well, the other thing that comes back, right, for all of us, whether we have neurological issues or not, you have sensory comes this way and motor action comes back that way. So you're getting a message to your spinal cord, and then you're sending a message back for action. Well, when you decrease the sense, you're going to decrease the motor action. And what happens with that is now the tissues start not turning on. They start getting weaker. They start getting tighter. They start getting painful because the pain comes with the cellular changes of the tissue and causing inflammation, because the immune system attacks body tissues and cell structures that are foreign. And now the tissue is becoming foreign. So the best thing for you to do to help with that is to do a lot of sensory-based perception things that are then building back up into having strength and functionality. So like the exercises today. So like using the ball on the bottom of your foot, using a ball like this that actually has knobbies that are going to give you much more sensation. You know, taking a newspaper and curling it up and doing feet curls with that. Doing all of the exercises we're doing today, and then starting to drive that into other more complex motions using your full body and trying to really focus on the foot so you can have the full body connection. So it's a process, but you can get profound results from following those steps.
How long did it take your 84-year-old client to get to his present level?
Well, he started to see, I think, significant results by about month 2 or 3. Significant
Right,
results.
okay, interesting,
And-
interesting. What were you
And
doing?
it's
Sorry.
interesting too, because like when you lose feet function, it can make you feel unstable, and then your posture starts changing and your upper body and everything changes. So it was amazing to see how not only did his feet function improve, but the whole other rest of his body that was being affected by his feet also start to improve. And I think we really started to see big improvements by about month 3 with that.
What were you doing in Birmingham?
Oh, we're just on vacation, and it was
Okay.
it was my birthday actually last week. So we I love Scotland. I love UK, and especially Scotland's amazing. And in Scotland, they have the largest art festival in the world in Edinburgh,
Yeah.
or as you would say, Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing. We absolutely love traveling there.
How do I schedule the individual meeting then?
Patricia will drop the link in the chat right now. So if she'll drop again, so it's easy for everyone to find. You just go to the chat and you'll click the link, and then you'll be able to be directed to a calendar where you can
Lovely. I
schedule
shall
it.
do that. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you very much
Awesome.
indeed.
Yes, sir. Me too. Bye. And Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette. You're up next with us here. And where are you logging in with us from?
I'm in New York City.
Awesome.
Yeah,
The Big
I love
Apple.
It is fantastic, and so is this. Thank you. This germ. It's amazing. So, but just a quick for understanding. I don't have any bunions, but my sister has bunions, and they just say surgery. The foot you just mentioned them quickly in the beginning. With the foot exercises, will these kind of exercises help someone with bunions?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Will I be able to forward her this link? She's not here.
You'll get an email after each.
And that's what I'll be able to, okay.
Yeah, after each session, you'll get an email with the session.
Mhm.
So you'll have that. You could actually just forward her the email.
Thank you. Because she really needs some help, and I won't take up more of your time, but I'm thrilled to meet you, and this is fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Much love to you, Jeanette.
Bye.
Bye. And then Brian. Hello, Brian. Welcome, sir. I see you, but you're not unmuted yet.
I'm sorry. Hi,
Okay.
good day. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. During the exercise, when you were on the squat bar and with the lifting the toes up against it, during that exercise, I find my calves were kind of like very painful. And I noticed that the same thing I noticed also while I stand for like a long time, the back of my calves will get real tense, and I will feel that pain, and so I was wondering if those exercises would help my calf condition.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so you stand a lot. You spend a lot of time standing.
No, sometimes when I do have to stand. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, how did you do with the mobility on that? Did you have good mobility, or did you feel like
I would think that my mobility was good. I think I had exceeded the 27 degree and all of that.
So there's two major factors that everyone should understand to mobility, because it's not just range of motion. Like, okay, let's look at my shoulder mobility for what we call horizontal abduction, which is, in simple terms, this motion. Okay, so I can go to here, right? I can go to, that's my motion. So that's my range of motion, and the tissues will allow me to go there. But that's one component of the other component of mobility is your functional range of motion. And that gets pretty complex. I'm going to try to keep the science really simple. But long story short, you have all these different what's called sarcomeres. So you have your tissue is structured in this contractile tissue that actually crawls across itself and bridges onto the next tissue and pulls and crawls. And that's actually how your muscle creates action. I know it's crazy that your tissue actually crawls across itself. It's really true. That's how it works. And so depending on what range of motion you use depends on how many of these sarcomere or actual functional contractile tissue structures are in that place of your body. So if you're not using a larger range of motion much, you won't have the contractile structures in that place. So when you go to that position, it'll feel really weak because you don't have a lot of bridging. You don't have a lot of contractile bridging. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to spend more time in light. It doesn't have to be heavy, it can be really light. Like just get an exercise band you can buy like from Amazon or from us. And so you put the band on your foot, you just sit down and pull your toes back, moderately, but a good comfortable for you, but you feel some resistance, and just play at that end range. So bring the toes back towards the shin and then back to neutral. Toes back towards the shin, back to neutral. Your whole foot back towards the shin, back to neutral. You just do like 15-20 reps and do both sides and do that like 3 sets. And so what you're doing is you're starting to build strength and do mobility in a large range of motion. And then that can build up from the band to like a heavy band, and then off the band to standing, to where imagine I'm in the same position I showed in the session today, and you can just raise up and go back and raise up and go back. Now you're putting your full body weight, and that will start to adapt not only the range of motion, but like if you already have motion, now you're going to get better functional range of motion. Because one thing is to have mobility, another is to have functional range of motion and have the ideal tissue mechanics.
So how does that affect? I understand, at least I try to wrap my mind around what you're trying to explain, but how does it affect me when I'm standing, that for like say 15-20 minutes, if I have to do like 20-30 minutes standing, then I'll feel that pain in the back, at the back of the calf. How does that relate?
Because the tissue is under a stretch. I mean, when you're standing, the tissues are already under a stretched position, right? Because short would be like if you raised up on your toes, right? That would be like short, right? Or imagine just seated and relaxed. And obviously that requires strength because you're like balancing on your foot and the muscles under contraction. But neutral. So if we're standing and this is standing and this is your ankle, you're already stretching the calf. You're already stretching the calf. Like a standing position has the calf tissue under some stretch already. So your tissues are just saying, hey, we're not really adapted to this. So you're going to say, okay, so I'll get you adapted to going even further, and I'll build up further so that when I'm at this neutral position, it'll be comfortable because the tissue will now be adapted to not only the neutral position, but even further than the neutral position. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good question. And so Full Body Fix members, just want to give you one more opportunity. Patricia will drop in the chat if you'd like to connect with me. And it's an all about you session. That's what we call it, because it's all about you. It's a semi-private consultation where I get to learn about any hurdles you're up against, what you want to achieve with your fitness, and how we can help you make all of that happen and get over those hurdles. So those spots do fill up fast. Usually by about the 3rd or 4th session of the Full Body Fix, we are out of those available spots. There is no additional charge. Just one thing I ask is that like you'd actually have some serious interest about seeing us working together beyond the Full Body Fix. So that opportunity is there for you in the chat. And let's see if anyone has any other questions before we log off from today's session. And Patricia, is there anything that you want me to answer before I sign off here?
We don't have any questions in the chat, but we can talk about the remaining sessions just as a reminder.
Okay, awesome. So next session is on Monday. Make sure it obviously, hey, like anything that you do, if you attend, you get better results, right? So attend all the Full Body Fix sessions that you can. The next one will be, of course, on Monday. And every time we have a session, we have 3 different time options for that day. I'm sure you are all already registered and have your seats confirmed and everything, so that's awesome. If not, Patricia has also dropped that in the chat. So Monday is the next one, and that'll be knees and hips. And then Wednesday will be the 3rd session, and that will, of course, also have 3 times, and that will be pelvis, low back, upper back. And then in the fourth session, which will be next this coming Friday, that'll be shoulders and neck. And then the fifth session is an awesome breakthrough strategy session. We'll tie it all together, talk about how you can bring all those things into a fitness routine. And actually also I have a very special gift for you in the fifth session. So you definitely do not want to miss the fifth session, but attendance at all sessions will give you the best result. And let's give you just one more opportunity. Anybody who has a final hand raise here before I sign off for this session. And going once, going twice. Okay, so I wish you all very much love. Make it an absolutely wonderful weekend. And I look forward to seeing you back here in the second session. We'll keep the chat open for just a few moments in case there's links and such that you want to reference here. And I'll see you again very soon. We're going to make the second session even more awesome than today. See you soon.
And if you want to join us today, if you for some reason came late, we're going to repeat the session at 5 p.m. EST. You are welcome to join us. It is the last first day session today. Bye.